Today we are going to be decorating some Valentine's cookies, so grab your box and let's start decorating. When you open your box, you're going to see a kit of items. You should have your three different types of cookies. There should be a picture in there of the cookies we'll be decorating today. Oops, let me turn that around so you can actually see it. Then we have the lips, the cupcake, and the heart. We have sprinkles. Then we have three different bags of icing today. Your practice sheet that we will do in the beginning of class. Then we also have some scissors. We need you to go and pick those up. Those are the only things that are not provided in the box for you. We can manage with any scissors, so it doesn't matter the size. And then you have your wooden scribe, which is your tool that you'll use for decorating the cookies. You can use one side as a boo-boo stick to scrape things off, and the other one will be used to move your icing around. If you've never been in one of my classes before, the first thing we're going to do is grab our icing and massage our bags. If your icing's been sitting a while, sometimes the ingredients do separate, and all we need to do is massage them back together. So I'm going to grab these icing bags. I'm going to massage them, make sure my ingredients are mixed, because the next thing we're going to do is we're going to cut these bags open. Now, if you are a kid and you're watching this video, this is the part of the video where I want you to go get your grown-up. Your grown-up is who's going to help you cut your bag, because I don't want you to cut the tip too much, because if you cut it too much, then you won't get to decorate the cookies as easily. So if you're the grown-up and you're in the room, you want to make sure the seam is up on the bag. If you don't have the seam up, it kind of flattens the tip out and makes it difficult to decorate with. So go ahead, find that seam. You want to make sure you're pressing down. That way it gives the tip a more round shape. You're going to grab your scissors and just cut a little bit off the tip. You don't want to cut a lot, because you can always go back and cut a little more. So cut a little bit, find that tip so it doesn't end up in your cookies, and throw that away. The way you'll know if the tip is too small is if the icing comes out very squiggly. So there's a couple of ways to hold the bag. I use the table as a rest. You can hold your wrist if you feel a little shaky, and you can even use your finger to guide that icing. The first thing we're going to work on is our practice sheet. Now, when you squeeze on the icing bag, you are going to put pressure on the bag, which makes the icing come out. So when I say apply pressure, that means squeeze on your bag so your icing can come out. And now you can go ahead and follow those lines. Throughout this video, if you feel like you need to pause it because things are going a little bit faster, or you want some time decorating cookie, please feel free to do that. This video is only about 30 minutes when classes usually last about an hour and a half, so it's understandable that you may want to pause it sometimes. So let's keep going and let's finish up those lines, and then we're going to move on to our loop-de-loops. When you do your loop-de-loop, you just want to gently move your wrist up and down, so that way it can lift the icing up and it will go, the icing will lay down on that loop-de-loop. You'll do the same thing with your squiggly lines as well. I hold my icing bag up a little bit higher so I can see the icing actually fall on the paper. It helps me guide the icing a little bit better, but you do what is comfortable for you. After we do our squiggly lines, we're going to work on our circles, and here are a couple of tips. Circles are really hard to get perfect. If you are right-handed, you're going to want to go counterclockwise with your circle. That way you can always see where the icing falls. And if you are left-handed, you're going to want to go clockwise. So let's grab our icing bags and go ahead and practice that. Also, with the heart, you always want to start at the points and go all the way down to the other point. So you're going to see me do one side, and then I'm going to do the other side. Okay, so now we are going to put our practice sheet to the side and we are going to pull down our first cookie. We are actually going to start with the cupcake. So if you want to grab your cupcake, and we're going to start with that middle section. Now, if you look at the picture, the cupcake is three different colors, and we are actually going to start with the light pink, which is the middle color. At this time, if you want to go ahead and open the other two bags that have not been cut yet, go ahead and get your grown up if they have not been cut yet, and your grown up can cut them for you. Remember, you want the seam to be facing up. Press the bag down, cut a little tip, and don't forget to find those tips. Those tips are known to run away, and I seem to always find them later in the cookie. And so that's why I always want to tell you to make sure that you grab the tip after you cut it off. That way, we're just not voluntarily eating plastic. Once you have the light pink cut, that is where we're going to start with that color. So if you want to take the picture and take a look, you can see that the icing for light pink is in the middle. So we're going to start off by drawing two lines. We're going to do the line that is at the break of the frosting and the bottom of the cupcake. And then we're going to do the same up here. And once we do it at the top where the white and the pink connect, we'll draw another straight line and then connect the two ends, and then we're going to fill it in. Filling in icing spaces is called flooding. And so we are going to flood this cookie with the same icing bag. There are three main consistencies when it comes to icing. There is a stiff, a medium flood, and then there is like a liquid flood. This is a medium flood icing, which means that it's thick enough that we can outline with it, but it's also liquidy enough that we can fill in different areas with it. So that is what we're going to do here. So you're going to see me apply a little bit more pressure than I would when I'm doing the outside to get that oval nice and filled in. And then I'm going to take my wooden tool and I'm going to take the sharp end of it and I'm going to work that icing all the way to the edge. Working the icing this way also gets out the bumps from the icing, so it will give me a smooth finish. So I always typically clean off my tip of my wooden tool with a napkin after using it because I don't want the icing left over on the tool to get on another cookie. So let's push that cupcake up and we're going to look at the lips. Now there's two ways to do the lips and you can do it either way. You can go ahead and do it this way where you can flood the whole back and then do the lips on the top. But today we're going to be doing the simpler version for the kids where we just make actual lips. So we're going to take our light pink and we're going to do the lips in that color. So if you want to grab that now, we're going to start at the corner of the mouth and we're going to do the top of the lip first. So the best way to do this is you want to trace the top of the mouth. That way you have a sturdy place to start your icing that you're not doing freehand. Now for the second part, we're going to start in the corner again, but we're going to go straight across. We're going to stop about halfway, do a little smiley face, and then go across the rest of the way. This is just to give like an indentation, like these are actual lips. Do our lips really look like this? Not necessarily, but you get what I mean. Your cookie lips look like this. So now I'm going to go back and I'm going to flood in this area as well, the same way that I did the cupcake, filling in the area with icing and then using my wooden tool to smooth out that area. So now we're gonna push those lips up and we're gonna grab the heart. So there's two different ways that I'm gonna do this heart. The first way that I'm gonna do it is I am going to do a stripe in the middle and get sprinkles for the heart. Another way you can do it is by filling in this heart. You just have to decide what you want out of the cookie. So I'm gonna actually show you both ways to do it, and then you can choose how you want to. You can do a line any direction that you want to. So I am going to use all three colors with my design as you saw previously. So I'm going to grab the white, the light pink, and the darker pink. I'm going to start with the light pink because you always want to start with the middle section. That way that area starts drying first, and then when you go back, you'll see that you're able to flood both of the other sides instead of having to do one section at a time. So again, this is a little tricky. So if you don't want to do this and you just want the whole cookie to be one color, you can also do that as well. So it's whatever you decide. It's your cookie and your design. It does not have to be perfect. The other thing I wanted to add here is I actually am going to pause the video and I'm going to go and get a paper plate. So a paper plate or a regular plate is great whenever you're working with sprinkles at home. If you place the cookie on the plate, the great thing is you can catch all the sprinkles when you're putting it on there. So if you wanted to go grab a plate or a paper plate for when we are adding sprinkles, go ahead and do that now. I'm going to go ahead and fill in this area. Again, it's that flooding. I'm just doing the middle section. So I'm going to put all the pink on the inside, grab my tool, and make